hope traders and investors alike for Green Friday. This video, I would like to go over the day trading list. I did add some weekly charts in, so we can take a look at the weekly time frames as well. That helps identify the trend, helps identify important levels, just to overall see where we are. So this is AMC. We talked Friday about how this was, forming a bear flag here, still chopping around in the same flag. It did see some volume come in Friday, and this is one thing that we're going to see. A lot of stocks had volume come in on Friday due to the Russell, the rebalancing of the Russell. So there was a lot of shares added on a lot of different stuff Friday because of the rebalancing. We've seen a early MOC of 395 million to sell. Then we've seen 320 to sell. And then, right at the very end of the day, I was trying to track it to see how the flow, if the money was starting to come in. And right at the end of the day, we've seen like a 3.2 billion to buy. So we've seen them, overall, they had mostly selling for the institutions had mostly sold, but not a big sell. Millions are not not huge. We're looking for billions for a signal. But at the very end of the day, we had this big 3.2 buy. But how is that going to relate to the market? Is we going to, traditionally we would be expecting follow-throughs. It's really hard to judge when something like that, the rebalancing or something like that's happening, because they may not come for anything, and they could come in Monday morning and try to sell, all of that. Everything that was bought could be basically, people come in taking profits where the rebalancing maybe put them in the money. It's a lot of people looking to get out, just trying, because if people were still trying to buy dips, there's a lot of people who are just trying to get the best price possible, break even, just trying to get out of their positions right now. So let's be careful and let's see what our indicators look like. So crude, we are still in this downtrend, but this is a decent looking chart. We're still in this downtrend here, but seeing the wick and the this tight doji, pushing back up above the 50 Friday, that's a decent sign. To see where these oil names go. We've pulled back big time. I know we've had some members who actually took a beating on the oil names because they were up and they didn't protect their positions. When you're swing trading, any kind of trading, even if you're long-term trading, or investing, you have to protect your positions. Different ways to protect your positions with different styles of trading, but you have to protect your profits. Unless you're like in a 10-year type position, then you're glad to see them go down so you can add to your position. That's more of a position building strategy. But you have to take profits. You have to protect your profits. You have to keep stop losses set. I do think there's more gas in the tank for energy names. It's Biden's war on energy right now is making things difficult. He's saying he's trying to bring down the prices. So let's see what he does. But as long as gas prices are looking like they're going to rise, if China comes back online, it's a lot going on in the world that, summertime, we just seen that posted something over the weekend about the FAA saying that they have seen more air travel, they checked more passengers than they have since the 2020 times. So people are traveling right now. This could be, with money tightening, this could be a situation where they're like, all right, we're going to go ahead and take this vacation. We've had it planned, and then we got to tighten up on our money. just a lot going on. Everybody's super bearish, so let's not get over bearish. I do think there's more downside to come, but let's not get over bearish and get paralyzed when we have a nice push up. Because even in a bear market, you can have a big move to the upside for a rally and then come back down. So this is the Nasdaq, and we called out Friday that the Nasdaq was getting overheated very quickly. Now remember, Friday we were not as hot as the New York Stock Exchange and just quickly overheated. So this is, 200 is overbought. We're at 194. This is overbought already. So 114 on the New York Stock Exchange is getting a little over, it's getting warm. It's definitely starting to get warm. The Nasdaq is overbought, but you can see we can push on a good rally. If we're having a good rally, we can push up into here. And like you can look back on the Nasdaq, and you can see where they pushed tech a few times. You can see this rally back. We had that big rally we had back in March. Um, we were expecting an oversold rally then, and we got a really nice strong rally to the upside. And you can see where it just continued to chop around in the oversold area. So this can very well happen again. It happened here as well. This can happen again. It's really hard to say what Monday's going to bring because it's hard to look at an event like the rebalancing and looking at these charts. I did post some charts in the Facebook group and plan on trying to get some more in here. A lot of that is for the chart section because I need to get some new charts in there for people who are looking to train their eyes with those charts. We may do a video on how to use the guide section, how to properly use the guide section in the Facebook. Let me know if you would be interested in that. The U.S. dollar, we're still pulling back, cooling off. It is finding so you can draw, if you were to take your drawing tool, you can actually draw a symmetrical triangle here, a little bull pennant. Not really crazy about the setup. Normally I like to find them going up, but a pennant and a flags are continuation periods. So you started to go into a downtrend here and you started a pennant. So the dollar could continue to pull back. That would be great for the market. Look at the MACD. It looks like this snake coming along, and that's his head right there. Is he going to open his mouth? Are we going to see a move to the upside, or is it going to roll over? We're starting to looking like it wants to roll. That would be actually good for the market. I know, a strong dollar sounds like a great thing, but a strong dollar makes, an overly strong dollar makes things hard around the world for, international trade. Everything costs more. This is the VIX. We've been in this downtrend here, and we broke the moving averages Friday. As long as we stay below these moving averages, UVXY puts is a very good option. The market continues to push Monday. Check them UVXY puts out. Apple, you can see Apple's right into a downtrend here. Just barely got above the 20. Where we open tomorrow morning is going to be a pretty big deal. We're going to open up, or we're going to pull back, gap down a little bit, and open up below the moving averages, or will we gap up? Depends on where futures open tonight. I have not even checked Bitcoin this weekend to see where it's at and how it's holding on. Bitcoin can be used as a great indicator. It moves a lot with the market. While we're trading, if the market's pushing up, a lot of times we can see Bitcoin pushing up. So you can use, and I actually use Bitcoin for an indicator over the weekends, like I would use the futures. So at like 6 o'clock tonight, I'll be checking the futures. That's Eastern time. I'll be checking the futures to see what futures look like, and I'll be watching them all night long, just trying to get an idea for the Discord of, when we open up. I like to be able to be like, hey guys, we're looking good, we're looking terrible. Just something along them lines. Well, this is Abby, and I said last week that, we were changing our outlook. We were looking at Abby for a down play. We found a base down here, and I was really expecting to come up and tag the 20 or maybe tag the support and come down. When we took the moving averages out, the 9 and 20, I was starting to change favor, and I said, if this come up and we put in a higher high, you have a high, a low, a higher high. So that is a change in the trend right now. That just giving us a signal for a change in the trend. Look, you have 2, 4, 7 days, or more bullish side on the volume. So that means, these bars are not giving you breaking it down exactly. There was 12 bullish buys and 8 bearish buys, and that's just an example. But it is, so it's telling you if this bar is green, it's telling you over 50% of the volume that come in was bullish. And we can also see that with, price action pushing up. This chart's looking good though. Biotech is warming up. We're going to try to cover some stuff in another video, and we're going to put a few charts in there and talk about, some of the charts that I follow throughout the day, so I know what sectors to call for you guys, how I can help spot some of these rotations. You can also see right here the S&P. This is the S&P 500. This is basically a line graph for the S&P 500. So we're using it to judge relative strength. But forget all this for 1 second. Shoulder, head, shoulder right there. So the line, sometimes if to get a different view of your charts, turn the candles off and just click a line on for a minute. Sometimes it'll help identify patterns like that. So we talked about a head and shoulders on Friday that we found on the intraday chart. I just wanted to point that out real quick. Let's keep moving. AMD, we've been talking about how the market's been showing a lot of bias against the biotechs or against the semis. The market has not been coming for them like they have other stocks. We had this bear flag here we formed, and we ended up pulling back. We put this little flag in here. We did get a move up. I would suspect that there was some shares added to this during the rebalance as well, so that could be why we had a decent move there. This is AMD's monthly chart. This bear flag, we broke below the bear flag the week before. Last week we were able to hold the low and put in like a little hammer candle here. But we did hold the low. The MACD possibly still looking a little bearish. The MACD's not really changing favor for this candle last week. Let's see where they want to go this week at open. Affirm. You can see the volume coming in on it Friday, back above the 20 on Friday. You have the 50 right here, this downtrend. This 50 is telling you, hey, there's resistance here. And if you draw your lines, you can see there's a downtrend there. So how's it going to act when it gets to the downtrend? That's the question. This is a firm's 15-minute chart. So one thing we're looking for is to take out Friday's high. Really liking the stocks that have already taken out Friday's high. Basically set a new high from earlier in the day, looking for stocks that took out that previous high of the day and are still holding it. Tomorrow morning will give us a lot of clues of where these stocks are going at 4 a.m. Just to get an idea, or did we gap down, did we gap up, are we flat, are we holding it? I would prefer to be flat. I don't like gap ups and gap downs. A flat market and pre-market's easier to deal with. AMC 15-minute, you can see we chopped around, just a big chop, come down. But this support, you can see where this support level held right here. So the $12 area held strong. So this is AMD, and the bulls have not really been able to come in and take control of the semis. At least AMD, NVIDIA does look better than AMD, but we did get a nice push, and we were calling levels to 84. There was an 84 level that we took out, and we pushed up. I believe there was another fib level around the 87 area, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but you can see how we chopped around the rest of the day, tried to push up and take out the previous high. So trying to show a little bit of strength here, but overall it has definitely been weaker than the market. Amazon, we've been talking about this. We put this bottom in, we did the split. We talked about this candle right here and how that candle was extremely bearish on the day of the split, and we got a nice pullback, forming another bottom down here. So are we putting in a double bottom? It's hard to say. Time will tell. What's it take for this to be a confirmed double bottom? Well, we have to take the neckline out. We have to push through the neckline. And even if we do get through the neckline, we have this gap here, which that could stop us like a brick wall, like running into a wall. You never know. Or we could fill it and run. Just because you're coming up to a gap does not mean at all that it's an automatic fill or an automatic win. That gap is resistance until we get into it. Then the other side is resistance until we, uh, totally take the gap out. So a lot of times, 81% of the time when you get into a gap, the other side, just basically like we look at them like it's a window. So we would be closing this window, and when we get the window closed, we 81% of the time we see a reaction and we get rejection, come back and retest it. So a lot of times when the window gets closed, we see the reaction, but we got a while before we get to there. Right now, let's worry about the 50 is the next big area. So we're still $5 away, 4.5, 450 away, something like that. But that's the next big area, is this 50-day. Volume was fairly average as well. Friday, nothing special there. Some stocks had really big volume. A lot of that had to do with the rebalancing. So this is Apple's 15-minute chart. You can see it's been trending up, gap filled. Looks like there's another gap up here. I have this marked from our previous level. Been trying to bring it along. It almost looks like we went right into this gap and it froze. Let's see if we can push into this gap. Monday, tomorrow would be a big area to watch for Apple. Apple's weekly chart, you can see we found, so we've, pushed up, pushed up, pushed up, and then we started this downtrend. This chart still looks really good, as bad as the daily chart looks. The monthly chart still looks like we're in a confirmed uptrend, just pulling back to support, retesting a previous level, retesting this area right here where we've seen a reaction. This was resistance, coming back to it. It's now support. Got this little spinning top down here, and like I say, this is the weekly. Had a green week last week, but if you draw these lines, I didn't draw these downtrends because I would be blocking the moving averages out here. But we have to keep our eye on our moving averages. So we have our 9 right here. We have to take that 9 out on the weekly to, obviously to be able to push up. So that's a big area this week. So we have some big areas this week, with some oversold oscillators. The put to call ratio is back in the neutral zone. That's really good, cooling off nice. But the oscillators are heating up. So are we going to have enough strength to push through these major levels? Boeing, we said if we can get above this area right here, and we did. The level we were watching and while we're day trading is the 140.49. I believe we have taken that out. The next level to watch is how are we going to treat this 50 here when we come into it? Are we going to be able to push through that? The momentum's looking decent. We don't have big, huge histogram bars, but look at the lit right there wanting to pinch and open up. This could possibly push, but the 50 is is a huge area tomorrow. If Boeing pushes, we need to watch for that 50. We take that 50 out, then we can go in with some calls and take our chance. I don't want to just say gambling, tactically, go in and try to make some money on it. But that 50 is right there, and we have to be very careful with that. And you can see right here, Boeing, I like this. We come up, these are previous lines. No lines have been drawn. We have not put any of these lines in a while. They just block the charts up. So I'm going to just start using tags and looking for a retest of areas. But you can see we pushed through the support level, come back, went back, retested it. But you can see that we took out the daily high at close. That's one of the things I'm talking about. So we closed stronger than our previous daily high on that push. Looks like we actually took the initial push out. So Boeing's really strong. It did pull back, but it continued to grind up throughout the day. Boeing's been really strong. And BNY, we were talking about this Friday, I believe Thursday. I think it just went on the list Thursday. We've been talking about it. But we did manage to take all these levels out, put in a new 50, could be an all-time high. I'm not sure, but we did put in a new 52-week high here. Biotech is really hot right now. We posted AMZN to the Facebook group. It's a nice looking chart as well. We've got some good plays out of that. I actually haven't played it, so let me rephrase that. That has done exactly what we have expected several times. It just doesn't have crazy liquidity like I like to be day trading with. So we're in a big downtrend here on the oil names, but trying to slow down here. The 50s or the 200s on its way up. I'm still not ready to go long on them, and we're so extended to the downside. You have to really be careful. Quick plays in and out. Grab your money. It's hard to stay in something that's extended that bad to the downside. But you can see we started to push. You can see how a nice downtrend here, and we started to trying to push back up Friday. We'll see. It needs to have a lot more momentum than just that little push. We're still under this 200s coming. You can see this descending 200 here. When you're looking at your moving averages and you're seeing them all descend, that's telling you where the stock, how the trend is, where the trend's hitting. Lilly, another strong one. This was already drawn out. We were saying watch this for resistance. They, gap this thing up big time in pre-market. The next level to watch would be right through here. Basically, you're watching for all-time highs, or it could be 52-week highs. I honestly don't know. I would have to look back. But the thing, highs for now, let's put it that way. So let's see. So we actually took that out. So let's do this. Put a tag there, put a tag there, put a tag here. Just for future reference, we can come back. I don't know if these will stay on this list. I personally don't trade biotech much, and I know the group doesn't either, but on a boring day, if that's the only thing running, we can definitely go after them. ExxonMobil, you can see the same thing in this downtrend here, trying to change character, trying to change it. Like I say, this is just a 15-minute 200, so this is not like a daily 200 or anything, but it's still the 200, the 15-minute 200. You can see we're trying to change character on it. You can see it was trading a flat here, it was descending, and we're trying to flatten it out. See if we can get this thing to go up. GME, some crazy price action here. It's been chopping around. It's got a little flag here. Honestly, it's tight, but you have some really tight price action. Little flag holding this 9 and 20 under this 200. Not really interested into it until it gets above this 200. But if this thing does with that tight price action like that, looking like a move's coming. Friday's candle looks like that move, maybe possibly to the downside. Not seeing any good volume on it, so it probably was not part of the Russell. It may have been, just not seeing that strong volume that we're seeing on some of it. You can see a GME, a little double bottom down here on the 15-minute. You can see where we put in it's not textbook, just wicks lower down than that one. But we put this in and, pushed up. That could have been looking, if you were looking for an entry, that could have been one right there. QQQ, this is the daily chart. We have this downtrend coming up. So big area. Looks like we took the 20 out. We need to see if we hold this 20 tomorrow morning. We need to take this downtrend out, and then can we get to this 50? We have some big areas coming. The 50 is what we were hoping to get to here, and it didn't happen. You can see how when the price pushed, it actually started pushing the 50 up a little bit. The 50 started to rise, but it's still descending. You can see your 200 coming in and starting to descend on the daily. You see it wants to roll over. Just a bad sign. I shouldn't say that. It's just a sign of a different market than what everybody's used to. This market's full of opportunities, and there's so many ways to make money in this market. I mean, even if you're just looking for passive income, there's so many ways. You have to get your emotions right. Uh, you have to figure out what you want, build a plan, get your emotions right. Um, that's a lot of new traders' biggest problem is their emotions are all over the place, and you have to get a handle on that. So this is the cues. You can see at the end of the day, Friday was getting some volume coming into it. This is one of the things I'm talking about. We did this, how to spot the leaders. So this is a good sign when you see the previous high was taken out at the end of the day, holding it in pre-market. Those are the stocks I'm interested in tomorrow morning. QQQ weekly chart coming into this downtrend right here. Things are getting tight. We've got a moving average of like the nines right there. So watch that 9 on the 50, taking the downtrend out, then the 20. But you can start to see how all the moving averages now, except for the 200s turning and the 200s changing character here. We're getting ready to come into it. This is a big area, very big area. So will we come down to this 200 in the Qs? We'll have to see. TLT bonds were trying to push up last week right into this downtrend. The 20s letting you know, hey, you have resistance here. You draw your line. You see the downtrend. The 20s doing its job, letting you know, hey, you have resistance here. Red candle on Friday. It's really, if the bonds push, it's a good chance the market will try to follow. I would prefer to see bonds looking a lot better than that. IWM weekly, you can see we're in a downtrend. The same thing. You can draw a downtrend through here. IWM has been pulling back a little longer than the rest of them, showing weakness. It never, we pushed up, and put in this great big base, and now it's pulling back. We do have some decent levels of some support here. Let's see if we can hold these levels. We're taking out a lot of these 2021 highs, working on 2020 highs now with a lot of different assets. A lot of things are hitting back to pre-pandemic levels. Some things are already at pre-pandemic levels. So this is the IWM daily. We called this bear flag, was bearish, put in this little rounded bottom here, trying to push up. The Russell Friday, where there was some moving around on that. Next big target to watch here would be your 20-day. And so we're saying 20 on the daily, but it's a good idea when you're this close to a moving average to know where that 9 is on the weekly as well, because it can definitely and will act as a resistance level. So watch your 20 on your daily, your 9 on your weekly. On the 15, we had a nice move up. We based around a push at the end of the day. Look at the volume bars that coming in right at the end of the day. So this is what I like to do. Since I'm such a short-term trader, I like to look at, I don't really care what the overall. I do, we call the overall, and, sometimes we're at 2 or 3 times already the daily average volume, and we're into so many hours. Sometimes we do that. One thing I like to look for is the period of time I'm looking to trade in. How's the volume right now? The last couple of days have been really choppy with not a lot of volume in the market when we've been trying to trade. Hopefully we can get some more liquidity in the market this week and get some actual moves. Am trimming down positions big time until we see the market, start to move a little bit. MRO, you can see just chopped around down here, nothing special. We pointed out Friday, we pointed out a lot of volume on that. Meta, this is Meta's weekly, or Meta's daily. I meant to put the weekly chart in, and I don't think I did. We're having a big pullback here, testing this wedge. Actually got below it. We have pushed back above it, but Meta was a big deal in the Russell. So you can tell where they bought shares for that. So it got volume to push up. We took the 9 out. Next level to watch is the 20. And of course, this line would need to be adjusted now because we went through, we took this downtrend out, put this candle in. So this line needs to be adjusted and coming back through the top of this candle, and watch that area, that downtrend area as well. This is Meta's 15. You can see, this is what we've been talking about. At the end of the day, we took out the previous high of the day, holding it in pre-market. That's a good sign. You can also see heavy volume at the beginning of the day. So look at that. Look at the volume there at the beginning of the day versus the volume here on Friday at the beginning of the day. But you can also see that the volume come in at the very end of the day for the rebalance. Microsoft, make sure you got your downtrend drawn. You can draw a channel on the bottom. So we have the 50 here. We're right into the 50. We need to take that 50 out. We can see there's a resistance level coming up right here. Not really seeing a good tag for that, but we had this marked for some reason. Looks like we got a bounce right there off from it, matter of fact. So it's definitely a level to worry about. We got to take the 50 out. A huge area is this downtrend right here, and it almost looks like we have took the downtrend out. Let's check that out, because if we have, that's a big deal. All right, so very big deal. So if we open tomorrow morning over top this downtrend, watch your 50. See if we can hold this downtrend here. If we can hold above that, bullish on Microsoft. It's actually a good sign. The MACD was trying to cross as well. Microsoft's 15, you can see it's grinding right up. It took a gap out. We had a previous gap marked here, took that out. You can see we did take out the daily high, the previous daily high, and put in a new high and holding it at the end of the day. That's a good sign. Microsoft downtrend on the weekly, trying to push above it here as well on the weekly. It's a good sign for Microsoft. So we want to keep an eye on that this week. MRL, very bearish volume coming into this, holding this bearish volume as well, remaining bearish at a support level here. Some of these energy names are looking a little better than the others. You can see Oxy had a better day Friday. It did pull back, but had a strong day. Buffett buying and having up to 16% now of Oxy has a lot to do with it trying to perform a little better than some of the rest of them. You can see we're putting in a rounded bottom here for Oxy, trying to take this 9 out. The 9 on the daily is a huge level for that. We could see rejection and get slammed right back down into the 55-ish area. Palantir, what a nice move. We were bearish on this, got a couple, a move down, put in a flag, was able to get above these moving averages. We had to go from bullish. We started looking at it in a bearish mindset. Got up above the 50 here. Palantir looks good up above the, it's actually a rising wedge up, so we've took out the whole rising wedge area. Now continuing to push. This is offering support from our previous gap pattern. So we are above that levels, above the 50. Palantir is looking really good. Will it continue higher? We'll have to see. Right now, the bears are losing. The bulls are in control. You can see we pushed up, pulled back, took out the big move of the day. You can see the volume coming into it. You can definitely see the volume here versus the previous days. So it was getting nice volume on Friday. Will this volume continue is a huge question. And we just can't answer that. We're going to have to see the action we get tomorrow. So we have this nice flag here on CRM. We had this on the watch list a few weeks ago, and we ended up taking it off. We pulled back nicely. Chopping around down here. You can look, this is a rounded bottom. Some people, you could probably go into an intraday chart and you may be able to find a inverted head and shoulders. You see the candles here, the head, the shoulder. And I'm not saying that's what that is. No volume characteristics for there, but you may be able to find a decent one on intraday. Big move on Friday, gapped up. I'm not sure if they come for this with the Russell or not. I do need to go back and read the article that I posted. Um, Previous, once again, taking out we pushed up, this grinded up. This looks a lot like the SPY. So the SPY did the same thing. It pushed up and then grinded the rest of the day. Just steady setting high of the day, high of the day. But that's very choppy on your options. Sometimes it's not worth trading. SOFI, heavy volume right at the end of the day. You know, uh, Looks like at one point in time, we did take out the previous daily high, and we are holding it over here back above the support level, which was resistance here, and you can see we reacted to it as well. So if you've been following along, you were trading SoFi, there's a level here that we needed to pay attention to. We haven't been to it in a while, though. Just now trying to push up and take some of these levels back. You can see SoFi is in a big downtrend here. Watch these moving averages. Here we go. Here is the SPY monthly. Still trading. I don't know. So we had a falling wedge down here, and I could probably get some kind of wedge out of this if I drew it. Still basically trading in this downtrend. We are pushing up. Up candles are part of downtrends. We are in a downtrend. We talked about how the 50 was rolling over. To change for me, like if you look back in the past in previous times of turmoil and bear markets, getting below the 50 was a big deal, but getting back above the 50 was a big deal. So like here we got below the 50 when we took the 50 back. And I really need a longer date chart than this, but when we took the 50 back, we were able to hold it. And if you look back, you can actually see that I talked about the 200, but I really didn't cover the 50 enough in that video. So for me to think that this market's changing and new highs are coming, we would have to take this 50 out. Now, keep in mind that 50 is coming, will be rolling down. Every week this 50 will be coming down until the price gets back up to it. But you can look, just in the COVID time, the 50 never even really had time to had a reaction. It just slightly rolled down and continued. We're really starting to roll. Uh, Anything can happen. You can see how the 200 never even changed, just notched right there a little bit during COVID. You can see it. You can see the angle is coming out of it. It's heading, it's still ascending, but you can start to see the angle change on it. So a lot's happening in this market. This could lead to be a huge financial crisis. Huge numbers coming out. We don't want to cover them in this video, but huge numbers coming out this month. We've talked about them. So you can kind of see the head and shoulders down here. It's not textbook, but we found a decent one on the intraday. Got this big push. Here's the 15-minute chart. You can see how we put in that high on that big push, and then we just grind it up. At the end of the day, put in a new high, just a sign of strength. Tesla weekly keeps testing this area down here. And so far, it continues to hold this area. We've tested it 3 times, continue to hold, but we are in a downtrend. This 20 this week, I'm sorry, the 9 here. So this moving average right here, we need to draw a downtrend line. Let's so we have the 9 right there as well. But if you draw this downtrend line, you can see, if you look at it, you can see, I just realized that we have actually tried to take the trend out. Can we take this 20 out? So a big question, a lot of stuff coming in. You hear stuff about bankruptcy and everything else, just a lot going on. Tesla, went from looking like, we were amazed on everything going on in the world and how they could keep making these numbers. And now you're hearing stuff about bankruptcy. So let's see where it goes. A split and everything else. Why would you be doing a split? When prices are down this low compared to what they have been. But we are pushing up. Nice candle on Friday. A lot of this coming at the end of the day. We got that big push big push, and then it grinded up. We did end up taking back the previous high at the end of the day. I'm not sure where that wick would have took us right there, but strong move Friday. The end of the day volume was not stronger than the beginning of the day volume. It's one of the things I'm looking for is how strong was that Russell rebalancing volume. I'm not sure how that will affect anything, no, like in time. Basically, I don't know how that would help the market move just because things were rebalanced. I don't know if that's going to be a continued catalyst for this week. I really don't think so. I think that was, we got that big move we were expecting Friday afternoon, and that's probably it for that rebalancing. Upstart breaking this downtrend. Watch that 20. If we can take that 20 out, this looks like it wants to push up. Upstart 15, very nice trend heading up here. Right into resistance right now. This is a previous level that was drawn. So you want to watch the 40 area, 40, 17-ish area. So we want to take out Friday's high, even if it's a pre-market level, and you can see the pre-market was the high. That's the level we're looking to take out. Wells Fargo, huge candle on Friday. Back above the 9 here. I was about ready to give up on banks. They passed their stress tests and looks like trying to move up. Look at this huge move on Friday. That is a big move for Wells Fargo. You got a $3, almost a $3, $2.80 move. It didn't take out, at the end of the day, we didn't take out the previous high, but that's all right. You can see the heavy volume coming in at the end of the day. So it looks like they had some rebalancing in the Russell as well. Exxon, we got below this area. We said if we're below this area, we are, still short. Let it put a base in here. Let's see if we take this area out. You have a zone here, so you have to be careful. You got a pretty tight zone there. Where we can see there's a couple dollar move in between those, so you can still trade in between. But below this level right here, draw your line from this top of that candle body right across here, right across this candle, making sure you have this on your chart. Below this level, we're bearish. Let's see if we can put a base in here and pull down. Now, of course, I would like to see the oil names continue to push, but right now we have to play the action, play what's given to us. And as long as we're below that level, we're looking at it in a bearish mindset. Zim, we were looking at this with a bearish mindset as well. We were putting in a base. You see the 15, a big move down, went back up to retest the 50, coming back down. Let's see what the daily looks like. Yeah, so we were putting in this base right here, expecting a move down. We did get back below it, and then we're trending down. MACD looks like it wants to pinch here a little bit. It's worth keeping an eye on. So we just built this base, letting the 9 catch up, starting to get extended again. It's worth keeping an eye on. Always watch your 9. If you don't want to try to trade something too far extended from your 9, that is, if you're trying to swing something, you don't really want to buy dollars away from your 9 to try to swing. Day trading, the way we trade, let's go in and get it. AMC. All right, so this concludes our video today. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. If we're doing anything here that is helping you, please like and subscribe. If you're serious about learning to day trade for a living or just learning to trade in general, I try to focus more on, because we changed the way of thinking a little bit to help, for people who want to learn to day trade for a living. You need to look at the market in a different view. But we do have live commentary in the Discord, and it will help you tremendously on better understanding the market, better understanding options, option flow. We have a lot of free educational material right in our Facebook group, Twitter, Instagram. You can give us a follow. It's very, just liking the videos and subscribing is a very huge way to help support us. And if, you like what we're doing, please give us a like. This helps us get more information out. Have a great weekend. See everybody in the trading room.